I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. You their points together, and that helps with songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch. Oh, and a child shall lead them. Okay, we are doing a DJ stream for the big homie Nick. Here he is in the corner.
And there he is up there.
Yep. The stream has been very interesting. You should watch it when your kids aren't home. In the meantime, we're going into the next song on his list. This one is Falling in Reverse. The Drug in Me is You Reimagined.
The Drug in Me is You Reimagined.
Maybe, did I do something wrong here? Is that what it is?
The Drug in Me is Reimagined. Is what it looks like to me.
Okay, well.
The Drug in Me is Reimagined, ladies and gents. And
yeah, that's true.
Let's do it. Ready?
Yep.
I heard a knock upon my door the other day. I opened it to find her staring in my face. The feel of mortal stalking still reverberates. Everywhere I go, I drag this coffin, just in case. My body's trembling, sends shivers down my spine. Adrenaline kicks and shifts into overdrive. Your secrets keep you sick, your lies keep you alive.
Secrets keep you sick.
Every single time
Your secrets keep you sick.
Yeah.
I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts a 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. I lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume. The drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery. Can't you see? I've got these questions always running through my head. So many things that I would like to understand. If we are born to all died to live. Then what's the point of living life if it just contradicts? I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. I lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume the drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery. Can't you see? I've lost myself. You try to reach me, but you just can't help me. So long, goodbye. You try to save me, it won't work this time. 'Cause now I've lost my fucking mind. And there's no fucking time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume the drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery. Can't you stop?
Wow.
Somebody said the sound is good, but shit lyrics. I completely disagree.
What?
These lyrics were great in my opinion.
I loved them too. And the music video, if you guys get a chance to check it out, I thought it was pretty interesting. I liked the they had a winter scene, and wow, it was very cool looking.
Yeah.
And the way that they posed those instruments and his piano in the snow and stuff, I don't know, I just really liked it. But holy moly.
That was probably the most poetic
yes.
fuck I've ever heard in my life in a song. He did it so beautifully. I've lost my fucking...
Oh.
It was really good the way... I'm not bullshitting.
Yeah.
It was really, really good the way he did it. Like, that... that was the most beautiful F word I've ever heard in my life. And I'm not even joking. Because, you know, we talked about this before, about, like, bad words and conventions and things like that. But, like, has there ever been a better use of that term? The way that he did it?
Well, when he said he lost his mind?
Yeah, it's at the very end. The way that he did it.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
He's out of time.
A better sounding way. My favorite use of it was in that...
Lone Survivor?
That was it.
When the dude's got
That's what crossed me over. And I was like, I am now accepting the word fucking to my vocabulary. Wow, this song was... Yeah.
the lesson one of the lessons in the previous song was that money cannot buy you happiness.
Right.
This one is a lot more challenging because it's saying that relationships can't buy you happiness either. This guy's got some real existential issues that he's got to deal with, and he's trying to put it all on this girl, and he's finding that she's not doing it for him. It's like,
well, I thought it was because she was not being honest and stuff.
Where do you say
he
that?
He says, your secrets kept you sick. Your lies keep you alive. Snake eyes every single time you roll with crooked dice.
Yeah, that's what it means to be in love with somebody with a sinful nature.
Well, that is such a poetic way of writing that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. That's one of the it's an unfair thing to try to pile on all your existential woes onto another person and make them the rescuer.
Yep.
So, like, I'm sure if you pinned him down, he would probably say, yeah, I've got the same issues, right? But what he's saying is, so many things I'd like to understand. If we're born to die and we all die to live, then what's the point of living life if it just contradicts? So that's an existential crisis. Yep. I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down, the kind of dark that haunts a 100-year-old house. Brilliant line.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant line, dude.
Yep. Well, what did you get from it?
From what?
The kind of dark that haunts a 100-year-old house.
Well, because just the word picture that creates, just this desolate, abandoned place where you've got this lonely ghost walking around.
Creepy, but also very lonely, yeah.
And his body is basically housing a lonely spirit, you know? So his body is the house, basically. That's how I looked at it.
So I thought this, too, was interesting. When he said, I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying, feet don't fail me now. When he says, I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. You know, I've been talking to the kids about stress and anxiety and how those things like affect you. And you can choose to be stressed or anxious about things that you have zero control over. And it's really going to tear you up. There's stuff that you have control over, make the necessary changes, and then, you know, pray about the situation and then leave it. If there's something that's out of your control, stop getting stressed out about it. You can't do anything about it. So when he says, I shook the hand of doubt, I was trying to explain to them the difference of feeling something and accepting the feeling and saying, okay, like, now I own this, and you almost live out that feeling. Like, and so when he said that, shook the hand of doubt, it seemed like he already had doubt, but then once he shook doubt's hand, now it really kind of came in and kind of took over in a sense. Yeah.
And that's when he says, you know, he's wrestling with thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying, feet don't fail me now. Mm-hmm. Which means his past is going to catch up to him. Mm-hmm. You know, and then he says that I've lost my mind. It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here. Trying to consume, there it is. The drug in me is you. And I'm so high on misery, can't you see?
Right, but that's what you were saying before, where relationships, money, all those things are not going to bring ultimate happiness or lasting happiness.
Yeah, I just think it's unfair, and I like the way that he says consume, because it does end up being a consumptive relationship where the person's life goal is to be your, you know, savior and all the rest of it, and then you end up consuming the person. Yep. You want all their time, all their energy, all the rest of it, which is really, really interesting, right? Because Jesus shows up and he says, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's saying, I'm the one you should be consuming. Yeah. Yeah. Because he's an infinite being, so he can handle all my bullshit. Mm-hmm. But I can't put that on you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
and I can't put that on you.
Right. Right. But the thing is, in a lot of these like codependent relationships, like, there is the perpetrator who's being, but then the other side of it is like you're allowing that. I'm saying proverbial you're allowing that, and you've got to draw really stark boundaries.
Sometimes I think there can be a savior complex on both sides. So one person can be like, I need a savior, save me. And they put all of this pressure on a human being to be a savior. Right. Well, at the same time, someone else it can be sucking the fucking life out of them, but at the same time they kind of like the feeling of saving the person, and so they keep doing it even though it's killing them. And so neither one of those are healthy ways to live, and it's not a healthy relationship either.
Yeah, I lost my mind a long time ago when I lost my wife.
Oh,
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Sorry to hear that.
So then you ask yourself, like, her secrets and her lies. Maybe she has secrets and lies because she's not allowed to be in a relationship as a regular person. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I don't think he makes that connection. But when you're that person that is the savior, everybody wants a piece of, like, you get pushed more into isolation.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's one of those chicken or the egg situations. But this guy can truly sing, man. Yeah, I thought that was brave. I'm pretty sure we've listened to a couple of these guys, and they're heavy, just regular.
I love their music.
Knuckle dragging, like raw, heavy band. But he basically sat there with the keyboard, right? And you know there was some synth around, but not. I was waiting for the big. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah, I wasn't.
I figured it was going to show up at some point, but
I loved all of those. What is that instrument? It's the one that looks like a big giant. Violin. But it stands on the ground.
Cello?
Is it a cello?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had like multiple of those in the video. That was cool.
We had a church with a cellist one time. The one we went to in Houston, and that was an experience every Sunday.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a freaking experience.
It is such an obnoxious looking instrument that if it's stuck on a small stage, it's disrupting looking. Like you want to like not look at it, but you're like, wow, that instrument is so friggin' huge. Probably even looks more shocking because it looks like a violin, only way too big.
Are you saying he is high on misery? You know, and that's a really tough thing to deal with, man. Like, I think if a person, he's probably struggling with some sort of mental illness. And I think if you don't have those specific types of mental illnesses, or you've never had the experience of that, it's a very, very challenging thing for people to deal with.
To break out of. Like, I think, you know, where the line is, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I do know that you can, you know, we've talked about it before, coping mechanisms that people use to survive. But if your coping mechanism is not something that long term is a good thing, then it's actually not a good thing. And you should find a coping mechanism that's helpful. We talked about one before, which was, you know, suicidal thoughts, and using that as like your sort of escape to think about that sort of thing when certain situations kind of come up. And when he said high on misery, I thought, you know, some people, they love to be miserable. Like, you can be miserable for so long that you sort of start to like it, and it becomes normal. You might not like it, but you like it. And so you know, there's certain decisions, and I'm not, this is obviously not from a medical standpoint, because I don't know when somebody is severely in that, how that works for them. But I do know that there are conscious decisions that some of us can make that, you know, I don't know, I've had depression all my life, but not to the degree that you have it, I think.
I mean, I can't tell. You know, I've never been inside of your mind. So I don't know about degrees. But
well, from your standpoint, what do you think about the misery? The misery comment here.
Well, it's a very complex.
It's high on misery.
It's a complex mind, because what he says is, he said that the drug was her. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. The drug in me is you, and he's high on misery. So he consumes her, and when he gets high, the effect is not the regular high or whatever, you know, euphoria, it's misery. Mm-hmm. So they're just in a relationship.
Can you believe that the kids are doing all that thing at 10:30 at night? I have to tell them to stop. It's ridiculous. We've got neighbors. Hey, excuse me.
She asked me this deep question about dealing with my depression. And then off she goes. It's unbelievable.
But we have neighbors, and what if they're working?
I'm the one that's always worried about the neighbors. You're the one that was keeping the washing machine and all that shit shaking and jiving.
Yeah, but honey, you know
all-
how I am. I am selfish, so I needed the laundry done. There's no reason. There's no gain for them carrying on like that. All right. So, what would you say? Do you think that that's...
Well, yeah, I think she's making him miserable. But I don't think she's making him miserable because she's doing anything wrong. I think she's making him miserable because I think he resents the fact that she's not God. She can't carry him. His soul's too heavy. So he's consuming her, trying to get high off of her, and she's failing him consistently, which is bound to happen. Because you can't do that you can't be that for a person. It's impossible.
Yeah, nope, you can't.
And obviously, only God can. And I've been in so many situations, man, where I'm just been like, especially me and you, because if I were to say we could work together, we have business together, we work complementarily with each other, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my entire life. You're on my side. Yeah, you're rolling with stuff, and we're doing all these businesses together. But like, at the end of the day, I was just having this talk with Jesus like a couple days ago. Man, there's nothing like being in my Bible. You know what I'm saying? And just like having that alone time with God, like there's nothing like that, man. It's like there's just nothing like that like calms me down. You know what I'm saying? Like just calms me down.
Yep.
And something nostalgic and something, it's
something old and something new at the same time.
Very, very hard to explain.
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, I love you to death, but. And I think people like us, especially when people like us get together, especially when you have so much success being a power couple or whatever, that it's so easy to be like, oh, I don't need anything else. Like you know what I'm saying? I got her, but I'm sure there's times that I've put way too much weight of myself on you and vice versa.
It's so interesting. How many days ago was that?
What?
Like if you were to pin down how many days ago you were having that discussion?
Oh, like a day or two.
Yeah. I was having the same one 2 days ago.
Holy smokes.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So I just, but, and it's crazy because the guy's asking the big questions. Like, it's not, we can't get along, I'm upset at you. He's asking, like, why am I even here in the first place?
Yeah.
And I doubt that there's any value in me being here. And why is everybody trying to stay alive when you know you're going to die? Yeah, I was watching, I forgot what I was watching. Oh! Well, we were watching this movie, and one of the major moral decisions that the character had to make was, if you push this button, these guys are going to die. And so, no, we don't do that, yada, yada, yada. And so at the end, obviously, it's a hero. He saves the day, and they all live happy. But I'm like, they're going to die anyway. Like, all you did was push the clock back. Like, the entire premise of the movie to me was kind of injured by that a little bit to me. To be honest with you. Because to me, I'm like...
Well, especially...
All you did was push the timeline back a little bit. So, like, when you're in the throes of that, and you really, really, really... I remember I was in the bathroom one time in Florida as a kid, and I'm like... Because, there's this big miracle story about me when I was a baby and all. One of these days I'll probably tell it, but it also hit me like, yeah, you're still going to die, bro. It hit Lazarus, Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead. You're still going to die, though. Like, so, like, having to wrestle with that and how relationships work in that context, like, that's always been a problem for me. Like, the concept of death, even as a Christian, the concept of death, me dying and leaving Dorian without a father, or God forbid something happened to the kids, and you know what I'm saying? Like, both of those are, like, literally kept me up nights. You know what I'm saying? Like, and obviously being in situations where that could have genuinely happened, it's not a theory, like. But yeah, he's struggling with a lot of shit that is too much for one person to bear, this girl, whoever she is.
I think, when you talk about the kids kids aspect, like what if something happened to the kids? We talked about before, like shaking the hand of doubt.
Yeah.
And when you accept that in, then you now really like it. Now you're really going into that feeling or that emotion. That's one of them that I do not spend. I do not allow my mind to spend too much time on because it's so painful to even think about that. I know it's completely unhealthy for me to try to think about that before. Like you said, it's kept you up nights.
Yeah.
I refuse to even go that far because I know how, when I've thought about it for a little bit, how bad it gets. Or like I had that horrible dream the other night. Like,
Yeah. No, and I'm glad that, I'm in a situation now where that doesn't happen nearly as much. Because I made...
but you had to make changes.
I had to make changes.
You did. Yep.
And I'm glad I did.
Yep.
Really, really good song, though.
Oh, yeah.
And I bet it is. I bet it is Motor City. I bet it is. A lot of times, like, we'll have a little tizzy or something, and then Jesus will be like, yeah? So, like, if she died tomorrow, would that tizzy really matter to you? Like, I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. On that note, this song's 10.5 for May.
Nick, this stream is... it's a 10.5. I'm debating between 10.5, 11, but...
Whoa, back-to-back 11s? Holy smokes.
10.5. 10.5.
Do it!
10.5. No, because I don't think, like... Oh, God. No, it's 10.5. I'm sticking with 10.5. I know what 11s are. And this one is... I really, really liked it, but it's a 10.5.
It was a deep song. It was a very, very, very deep song. I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, what is he doing? Like, emotionally, we're all over the place.
I know.
This stream. So, good.
I feel like, what is it, the marionette dolls?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm on like
This
Nick
is
is
a
like
marionette stream. Thank you very much, Nick. Okay. There you are, dear listener. If you're just a square and you're in regular YouTube world, there's nothing can be done for you. Nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. You're going to have to wait for us at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not a square and you're a loyal villager, we will check you in another 2 minutes on the other side of the break. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.